Good morning, everyone. We're going to start our morning walk in the park. We had a nice fresh rain yesterday, so it just brightened up everything. It is just looking very happy. You can water and water and water, but water from heaven in any aspect of your life is going to be the best. This has been in a pot for 2 years, but this year I decided to go ahead and put Bird of Paradise in the ground. So we'll see how it fares. Our roses, reaching for the heavens, are starting to put on new growth for the third bloom of the season. I've yet to have any blooms, any blossoms at all on these angel blush. Corsa, Let's Dance did their thing. I did a cutback, and they are just now budding back up again. So that should be very nice. This is still in a pot. I'm trying to decide if this is going to be home for these elephant ears because they spread so vigorously, and I just don't want to have to fight them. So, not sure. We got some of the strawberry coleus right there. It's supposed to be ground cover for that area. That's the attempt. This is our Texas star hibiscus, and later in the day it'll be a little more open. Starting to open up. So we got a few of the lilies that are blooming here and there. This was the bloom from yesterday, and it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. The underplanting of the fountain. Of course, what we wanted in here didn't make it in the very back. There was some more of the Gara, white Gara. We got some pink beside it. Got a couple more sprigs of the Gara in front. We got some Nepeta that was transplanted and is trying to come back. These are feverfew that I grew from seed, and it's time to do a cutback on those. I'll go ahead and get them cut back today. Some more coleus that was grown from seed. It was a mix. Plays a little smiley ball in my fountain. And a little border coleus around here for some color in this bed. This is my gifted crepe myrtle from my sister. It's a red rocket. Very nice. Gara is just not faring well this year for me. I'm not sure. It's been so dry. I'm not sure that's a contributor, but it's just not faring well. This is actually a dahlia that was put over here as a placeholder and didn't get transplanted. These are raspberries that feel like they're gonna take over, but I'm saying no. Some purple fountain grass that are in some containers here at the entryway, the back entryway into the park. This is kind of how that looks. Two crepe myrtles that are flanking that entryway. This bed surrounds the gas tank. I already got some of the asters that are blooming. They're This one died completely back, but it's putting on some growth, so we'll let it. Back behind them, these are some yellow yarrow that are making some nice ground cover. Might have to add them to other places in the landscape, and I like that. Crepe myrtles back here are starting to bloom out. They've been budded up for a while. They're starting to actually open. And they're more of a dwarf variety, so I want to keep them as about this height as a little shrub. That's because without the hibiscus that are in the back, which has bloomed and bloomed and bloomed all summer. It's kind of in a lull right now, but thought it was going to be a little taller this year, but it's nevertheless was still a grand show. Got some more coleus scattered here and there. This one actually had another variety right in the center, and it decided no. It actually had one of these in the center, and it said no. But glad the other one said yes. This is a new bed for this year, or a new addition for this year. We have our first scapes on our daylilies that were planted this early spring. And I just didn't think we would have flowers, but they've came in as maybe they were bare root and maybe 2 to 3 sprigs, but they thickened up nicely, which I was very pleased with. And was not expecting to have any actual scapes, but there they are. I had matching loropetalums flanking this entryway, and the one on the far side died all the way back, so not exactly certain if I'm going to do a replacement on it because it looks a little tighter over there in this corner. The yew, I'm eventually going to move them or get a couple of yews to put out there in the Orient Express flower bed. Of course, you'll always find the quickest growing flower in the garden is a weed, and this grass, centipede everywhere. I did do a planting of some zinnias, and I'll probably go back and rescatter because I only see about 6 or 7 that's actually trying to make it in the area, so I'm not sure. Alrighty. Another Texas hibiscus that was grown from seed. It's budded up, but it hasn't flowered as of yet. This is a gorgeous hibiscus right here. This thing just goes and goes and goes, and it just loves life. It's a lot shorter than it has been over the past couple of seasons, probably because of the lack of rain. They love water. Barberries are looking a lot better. They were getting too dry, but they're looking a lot better. That chartreusey color. It's picked up really. That's Sylvester. Picked up really nicely. Contrasted with the colors right there. More barberry. There's actually another variety of barberry that's in here, right here. And it's a variegated one. It's really pretty. But yeah, these are looking so much nicer. They're starting to get more color to them. Of course, we've had about 4 inches of rain over the last couple of weeks, so that helps a lot. This is the second azalea that has been added in to my landscape. This was the second one. Got it from a local nursery. Actually bought it as a rhododendron, which they're in the same family. It was huge, large purple blossoms on it. Got it here, and it stayed that way for a couple of weeks, and then decided it was going to not be happy and relocated it a little bit further back and fertilized, built up the soil, and it's starting to rebound nicely. Doing the same thing for this one. Kind of trying to rehab it, but I want it to make it where it is, so we'll see. There is a volunteer sweet potato vine right there. Apparently there is some type of sweet potato underneath that. These were moved from containers that I had along the border, and I took everything in it and just plopped it right down. So that one has a sweet potato. This one has a couple of lilies around it. So, I mean, yeah, surprise, surprise. Pleasant surprise. This is a Weigela that was a cutting when I did a cutback last year, and it was a single stem. And this speaks to how quickly they grow. So this flower bed is affectionately known as the rings, and I think an aerial shot would probably, an aerial shot would probably let you get a better idea or look of how they interlock. But I made this bed. This is a 3rd year for it. And it was made on our anniversary. So we're made in planting anything in the South in the summertime. So they had a bit of a struggle, but we made sure we kept them watered well, and this is definitely the leap year, 3rd year leap. These are some jazz hands that are not keeping their variegated color too well. The older they get, the more variegated, but they got a lot of new growth on them right now. The Stylium, they are putting on a lot of new growth. I like the ends of them, the coloring on the tips as they grow, like that. This is a smoke bush that actually bloomed for the first time this year. It had this one shoot that just came up and just kept going, and I've left it like that, kind of a topiary style. But it put a lot of new growth out at the bottom of it, and I left it like that. Trying to do a cut back on this so that we can get some fresh blooms, but the bees are still coming to visit. We have a lot of new ones that are still coming out on it. So I don't know if I might have to individually prune some of the ones in there. I'm not sure. There's some more jazz hands that are getting out of hand. I'm gonna have to reel them back in. Serviceberry or winterberry. This is a winterberry. That was purchased from a local nursery. I actually separated this into 3 plants. And they were about the size of probably about maybe a 2-inch plant. This is the 2nd year for it. Looks very nice. This was a transplanted Lord Pedalum that did not make it, but I just like the structure. So that is why it's still here. It's a rose bush that we planted on the side of the house, and it was a monster. I was continually cutting it back. I said, let me just put you somewhere where you can do what you want to do. Eventually trellis to make an entryway to the park. And it is now growing like a shrub, so we'll see. Another loropetalum that was put there as a replacement plant. Some crepe myrtles that are eventually going to form another arch on this side. This crepe myrtle is pink. We were hoping for white, but this is what we got. Rose bushes that'll get ready to have a cutback, because I'm just not happy with how they look at all. Some phlox over here, garden phlox, tall phlox. Border lilies were really showy when they first came out this spring. Some spent alliums, which made a huge statement. They lined the walkway, the large purple blooms. They were gorgeous. New to the party, they have some lavender. Denim and lace lavender that was added to the party. Dianthus are new this year. I'm gonna do a cutback on them. They've got new growth coming out, so I'm happy to know that they decided to stay for the occasion. Of course, more pruning on these roses, but that's going to be the name of the game today. We're going to be pruning and doing some cutbacks out here in the park. And this crepe myrtle is loaded down because of the recent rain. It is kind of dragging the ground, but nonetheless, love the structure. Multi-trunk, white Natchez crepe myrtle. It's going to be gorgeous whenever it gets full height. It makes a canopy over that area right there. This was a newly set up seating area this year. Flanked it with a couple of pots. Pots have some coleus in it. This celosia, if you ever get it, you got it, was not planted. It volunteered and it looks good, so we leave it. It also has some plum dandy in it, a nice blade of grass right there, and fern. I put some calibrachoa in the front of it. Has good days and bad days with that. So we'll see what that one looks like. And always hopeful, always hopeful, always hopeful. This is around the pond area. Had a fern here. Decided not to rejoin us, but it has bulbs planted there, so that's why I haven't really been overly pressed to put anything else right there right now, because it has a lot of, this whole area is surrounded by daffodils in the spring, because none of this is out during the spring. This all grows back other than the hydrangea. And I know exactly what this bush is. I will come back. But other than those two, then all of this is, we're trying this Japanese grass here. It gets a little bit more sun than it likes. This Hakonochlora grass, but we'll see. That's a soft crest. Almost got it. Hold on. I'll be back. Mahonia. Soft crest Mahonia back there. And these hosta, of course, are getting way more sun than they want, because last year I had a taller pot here that gave it some shade and they worked really well, but this year they have tripled in size, so they're getting scorched. I did a little bit of a cutback on it. So we're supposed to be in the 80s this week and not the 90s and hundreds, close to 100. So it'll be a pleasant break for all of us. A couple of pots of ferns. That's a macho fern at the base of the Japanese maple here. These are some Mexican petunias that keep spreading further and further out. They have engulfed a couple of gladiolas in there. There's also some peonies in there. Of course, these die back every year, so after the peonies are finished with their show, these take over and just, yeah. These are some new daylilies that were put in last year. This is still in the pot. Again, undecided. I think I'm gonna keep it in the pot and just greenhouse it every year. Just gotta stay up on the watering. Got a little bit behind on it, and it has let me know. It's discolored some, but got a new one that came out that looks like it's trying to make it right there. So we just gotta stay up on the water around the fountain, around the pond. And this is a garage side of the entryway, the third entryway into the park. Take you back so you can actually see. My husband built this. I stained it. We still haven't permanently attached the boards on the top yet. So he's got to get up there and get those attached. I got it stained. And this is the third entry into the park. Got some daylilies in this bed. I also put some dianthus over here. Sedum ground cover. It has yellow. Oh, actually blooming now. I've made up my mind this year that I'm not going to tell anything when it should and should not bloom. If you have the energy, if you want to do it, go for it. We have these sago ferns. They have been here for a long time. Like 10 plus years. And every year, foliage dies all the way back. We just cut off the old and just allow the new to come through. And they actually open from the inside. They'll have new fronds that open up. And they just get larger and larger. That's a bottle brush I just got off of clearance from Lowe's. I had one on this side, and I actually put one on the front here. This one gets full sun from about maybe 1 o'clock on. It gets full sun. And so this one is pretty much sheltered. Get some dappled sun because of the large Chicago fire viburnums right here that I've cut back several times. I'm trying to do a tree form on it. Not staying up on it very well, but we're working on that. And this is another one of the Chicago fire. They get that name because in the fall they turn a bright red, the leaves. And then these little berries are for winter interests. They are like a dark blue or black colored berry. Some more crepe myrtles, purple crepe myrtle, multi-trunk that I'm getting ready to do some serious pruning on because I want this tea olive to have a little more space than what it has right now. I want it to be the corner point. So I'll do a little more pruning on this and take it down a little bit. But yeah, these crepe myrtles can be very aggressive when you give them the right conditions and they like where they are. Banana plants. Keep telling myself every time a new one comes up, I'm gonna cut it off because I'm gonna try to control the spread of them. Yeah, haven't done it yet. So this bed, the final one that surrounds the park, is affectionately known as Boomerang. Of course, Ariel would probably give you a better idea of that. But this is Boomerang. We have a crepe myrtle that's going to create a nice canopy over it. A couple of them that are going to come out this way. Really telling y'all, last year these crepe myrtles were this color, more of a magenta. That is not magenta, that is pink, like pink. So I don't know enough about it to say that it doesn't. Like soil contributes to it. I've never heard that. Not saying it can't, won't. But again, like I said, this year I'm not telling a plant what it should or should not be doing. If that is what you feel in your heart, then let it show. Let it show. Beautiful. Have a couple more dwarf crepe myrtles planted under here. Got some that are volunteering as well. So these are Chinese viburnums or snowballs that are definitely needing a little more space in here. So this year we'll come back and do a heavy pruning on that crepe myrtle. I love that color though, and the structure. Nice. I have some gardenia out here. This was a plant that was dug up and a piece of it was left, and it started growing, so we're just gonna go with that. We're gonna leave it. So, yeah, these are all buried up. We'll see. Grapes. Canna lilies. Some more viburnums that actually has another bloom on it. This viburnum is blooming again. Okay. You do you, babe. You do you. This was gifted to me by my students. Salvia. It has been cut in half, and we're on our second flush. So a lot of benefits to that. Cut these flowers back, and then you get another flush. They'll reward you for taking them out of the struggle. That's how I look at it. Just take them out of the struggle, give them a little break. They'll come back ready. Some blooms white. Well, maybe like a pale yellow, and then it fades to a white. Daylilies that need to be cut back. This is going to be our attempt for perennials. We've put some lantana out here, some mounding variety of lantana, and they're yellow, so that we don't have to plant this, because we plant it out with annuals every year. We did pentas. Hopefully they'll self-sow, or we'll collect enough seeds that we can replant them. This plant has been in the struggle for a while. It is a strawberry vanilla hydrangea, and I don't know if it's like location, but it has been in the struggle. So I'm not sure what the magic answer is going to be. Maybe we'll remulch, and because I've fertilized, and yeah, I'm not sure. But we're going to leave it, because I believe in it. We're going to leave it. And again, we've got some more of the daylilies that need to be cut back. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done out here, and it's gonna get done. I'm gonna make sure I get it done. These were some sun patience And they were treated very brutally this year. And they haven't been patient with us at all, so yeah. But yeah, this is actually the best that I've seen the lantana. They actually have blooms coming on now. They look like they might be happy enough to stay. Pinches are getting a little more height on them. So they're responding well. This is another strawberry vanilla hydrangea. And this is the best it's looked so far. I'm thinking that they probably would benefit from a little more shade. That's the only thing that I can think that might be, but I've seen it grown in full sun in our area, so I'm not exactly sold on that being the situation or the case, but maybe a little more water. Because I had this bed on irrigation and everything was supposedly established, and I didn't run it this year, so I did some supplemental watering to it. Probably not as much as it wanted, but with the rain and the additional watering the last couple of weeks, they're looking a little better. This is another snowball viburnum. Cow lilies that are bloomed and need to be cut back. Go ahead and get that done. That's nice right there. I actually planted these all along Boomerang. These Black Eye Susies. I have one. Nice. And these things are like everywhere. Well, maybe the time of the transplant or what, but they didn't take too well, so we'll attempt that again. And a couple more of the lantana and pinta. I actually put a lantana in. This is a wheelbarrow that you can kind of see the top half of it, but it's an old wheelbarrow that was put here and planted in. There's a mum in it. I'm gonna add some more soil. Bring a bag of soil over. This was a free plant. We were walking out of the Home Depot and the lady's like, would you like a free plant? And she had the mandevillas and she had the bougainvilleas. And I was like, sure. She said, well, here, take one of each. So the mandevilla was planted here at the base of this large palm tree. So I'm not sure if I'll have to lift that or if I can cover it enough in the winter to make it come back next year. The goal for this was to just have a little more of a focal point or some color there for this year. So if it comes back, then hooray. If it does not, then I'll probably look to get another one and plant it there and kind of keep that going because I like the look of it. And of course we have 2 containers that flank the entryway. We have some lights in them. And we have an evergreen, lantana, and a volunteer Joe Pye weed that is volunteered everywhere. I also have a sago at the entryway. We actually built this side up, this berm up, because we were anticipating moving the palm tree to this side, but we didn't do that. So we decided just to put another sago up here to lead in. These rose bushes were from a local nursery. They are Joseph's Coat. Absolutely love the coloring of them. Most of them are gone over. The coloring is, they're gorgeous. It's very pretty, very pretty. We have a vine planted at the base of it, a cardinal vine. And I was gonna kind of use to supplement the rose bushes as they went over, but it's taking its sweet time. coming up that vine, and it's okay. It's growing, it's moving. And then on the back side, we have 2 more pots that flank the exit to the beds. And I'm gonna do a cut back on this Alyssum. Also have some ground cover in here, lemon coral sedum. And in the center of it are some cuttings that I did last year from some of the hydrangeas. These are the limelight hydrangeas that I did a cutting on and put it on like a standard. And we actually have a bloom this year, a blossom. Yay. So that is our walk around the park this morning after a fresh rain. Everything looks really happy. Everything's looking healthy because of our supplemental watering to kind of keep it going when we were in our 3-week drought. But thank God for the rain. Here we are. And this bed over here is referred to as the gas tank bed, for the obvious. And we do have a couple of hibiscus out here that we grew from seed. A couple more cuttings from some hydrangeas that are actually putting out some blossoms right now. A couple of containers. This is a magnolia that has struggled with the location. It's been here, this is the 2nd year. It's a Jane magnolia. Struggled with that location, but and these I'm going to have to tie up, stake up, but they're sunflowers that were in a pot, and I put the entire pot in the ground. And each year after all of my containers are done, I just find a spot in the landscape, dig a hole and put them in it. So whatever's in the pot, if it so chooses, can continue on growing. This is a peach colored azalea that is blooming now. See? And I don't think it's an encore variety. It could be. But like I said, stop telling stuff what it should or should not do in the garden. So here we are. Thank y'all for taking this walk with me. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this morning stroll and taking a look around the park. Have a great rest of your day and get out and enjoy Have a great rest of your day. Get out and enjoy the adventures that await.